Again, welcome back, guys. I hope you all have learned about what is constructor, and we have spent a lot of time understanding a lot of Java concepts now, right? So let's take a little break and let's go to some Selenium concepts. Let's try to see where this constructor being used in Selenium, so that we can completely correlate what's happening, right? So if I continue further on Java, again it might feel little bored. So yeah, so what I have done today, what we are going to do, we are going to learn something about how we can do mouse hovering, how we can do right clicking. Okay, suppose in normal websites, so you now I am not clicking this, right? So I am just hovering my mouse over this. Yes, I am moving my mouse over this particular thing, and again I'm moving something like this. Okay, or I'm not clicking it, I'm just moving my mouse over this. Okay, we are going to simulate this particular action with the help of Selenium. Some websites supports both clicking as well as mouse hovering, but means suppose if I click on this, okay, uh, and it got logged out maybe because of the timeout. Let me try to log in again. Okay, so if I click on this, it's actually navigating me to here. So in this case, I don't want to directly click on this. I just want to navigate there, and then I need to hover my mouse over this. Maybe I need to go to the my entitlements, or I need to go to the add entitlements. I need to go to this particular screen. So instead of clicking on each of them, I need to hover my mouse over this and then do the actions. Okay, let's see how we can do this. Okay, first step. So first you need to load this particular website. So let's try to do it. Driver.get. You guys by this name should know how to do this. And first we need to log in. Okay, drive dot find elements. I think we have the ID, that's txt username. I'm not sure, but yeah, and I need to send the keys as admin. So anyway, first let's verify as well. So let's go here, verify. Yeah, so the ID is text username, which is actually correct. And what is the password? So this is the ID. Okay, I'll copy this and drive dot find elements. Yeah, guys, this is all stuff you guys already know, so I'm just not explaining what is doing. Again, I need to log in. So by.id, and it's button login. See, I even the locators I remember because I'm just using this website for all the purpose. So yeah, yeah. So after logging, what I have to do, let's do the login here. So I need to hover my mouse over this particular leave tab. Okay, let's assume. Okay, here you can use ID. Okay, or the leave text, whatever you feel comfortable, you can use that. For now, maybe I'll use this b tagged. So the b tagged text equal to leave. Okay, okay, Control X. Okay, now this is done. Let's try to store this somewhere. Okay, because we might need this. Okay, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to do driver dot find elements by dot xpath, and this is the xpath, right? So what I'm going to do, I'm going to store this in a web element reference. Again, guys, you guys already know it's almost like int a equal to 5. Okay, because we're going to use this at the later point of time, so we need this. So I'm just storing it. Okay. Now what I'm going to do, I need to hover my mouse over this, right? For that, there is a class, okay, in Selenium. Okay, so Java doesn't have the capability, only the Selenium have the capability. So we need to use that to perform the mouse over. Okay, guys, it's really annoying to unmute you guys. Sorry, mute you guys. If you're not speaking, please go on mute. Okay, it's definitely disturbing my flow. Okay, good. And so now what you can do, there is a class called as actions. Okay, if you notice, this actions class is coming from Selenium package. Okay, so you need to create an object for this actions class. Okay, new actions. But while creating the object for this actions class, see, it is telling while creating, okay, you need to pass the driver as the constructor argument. Again, guys, you know, this is a class. Okay, if there is a, you know, constructor, it will be the same name as the class name, right? So if I go to this particular thing, so the name of this class is actions, that's fine. And if you notice, they also have a constructor. So again, I told constructor will also have the same name as class name, but they have overloaded constructor here, which means they have a parameteristic constructor which accepts web driver. Okay, we don't have to really bother about what they are doing here, but all we need to understand is we need to pass the driver reference as a argument to their constructor, because they need this to initialize some of their objects. Okay, that's why I covered constructors before covering this actions class. So previously we passed a string argument, we can pass int argument. The same way they are passing web driver argument here. Okay, so what we have, the web driver, so this is the driver argument, right? So I'm just passing this so that the actions class will initialize whatever it needs to initialize. Okay, that's the use of constructor, guys. Okay, that is the exact use of constructor. And now once you do this, using this you can access all the methods. Okay, so what I can do, I just type actions dot. Okay, now it gives me all the method. So now what I want to do, I want to move to one particular element. Okay, so there is a method called move to element, which is actually asking me for which element you want to move to. Okay, give me the target element which I have to move to. This is the element, right? So maybe I can name this as okay, so I'm just moving to this particular element. Okay, again you can use a different name, maybe whatever the name you want. Like, let's say you want to name this as abcd, you can also name this as abc. Okay, whatever, just give some meaningful names. You know, here I could not find something very meaningful, so I'm just naming it as element. Once I move to this particular element, what I need to do, in actions class you need to actually build and perform the particular action. So you just need to call build dot perform after everything. Okay, whatever the operation you do, you call these two methods at the end. Okay, so that it will construct this particular, you know, set of thing, and then it will build it, and then you perform the action. Okay, so you just make sure that you are calling these two methods at the end after whatever you do. Okay, now let's see whether it is actually doing that. Okay, let's go here and then try to run it. So it's now logged in, and now it should hover over leave, right? So it's actually hovering over the leave. Now we also need to hover over entitlements, and then we need to click on add entitlements. Okay, so let's find the web elements again. um, Most probably they will have same XPaths. So for example, I can use the text, or you can use ID, whatever you want. So maybe I'll use XPath again. So I'm using XPath so that you know, you get more used to the XPath, because in real time there will be a lot of XPaths and the ID will not be present. Okay, so a tag with text equal to, okay, I'm just cutting this, and then once I hover mouse on it, after that what I want to do, I want to create one more element, that is, let's say we call it as entitlements, right? So maybe I can name this as leave. So leave. Okay, so it have changed in two places because I used the shortcut. Okay, alt shift and r. Okay, which means, so you can see the shortcuts on the top. Okay, so if I change it here, it will also change here, so that you don't have to go and edit in both places. Okay, that's the beauty about it. I have already covered this, but yeah, this is just a trick, guys. If you want to do everything manually, you can also do that. For now, maybe I'll name it as leave. Next, I will create one more stuff, that is entitlements, and this one is driver dot find elements by dot xpath again, and this one. Okay. Now again, I want to move it, so I don't have to repeat this piece of code. I can just, you know, repeat this piece of code. Okay, actions dot. This time I want to move to an element, that is entitlements dot build dot perform. Same way, after uh, going here, I also want to click on add entitlements. Okay, let's inspect this, and yeah, this is just the text is changing, other things are same, so we can just use the same one. So what I can do, I just paste it here. So okay, so just instead of this, I'm going to give this. Okay, and here maybe I would add entitlements. Okay, so this one I don't want to mouse over. Okay, you want to click on it. Okay, either you use a normal click like how you do, so you can do driver dot find elements by dot, so whatever, or we already have the element here, so add elements dot click. Okay, you can do this, right? So or sorry, this one is basically you can directly do add entitlements dot click. This is our normal way of doing it, right? But instead of this, if we want to do the clicking operation with the help of actions class, we are going to do that now. Okay, so you just press actions dot. Now I want to perform a click, right? So you want to perform a click, and then it is asking me which element you want to click. Okay, I want to click on add entitlements. Again, at the end, I need to add build dot perform. So there are two different types of click that we have seen. One is a normal way of clicking. Another one is using the actions class. Okay, if in interview somebody is asking how do you click an element, how do you mouse over an element, you need to tell I will use actions class, and then move to elements to actually move to it or click on it. Okay, good. Let's try to run it and see whether it is actually navigating to this add entitlements page. Okay, see, it has actually navigated to add leave entitlement. Okay, so whenever you want to do the mouse over, you need to use actions class, and actions class, while initiating this, you need to pass the driver argument in the constructor, so that hopefully you know what is constructor, what is constructor arguments, why we are passing this, because we, while constructing this particular object, it will use and initialize some parameters beforehand. Okay, that's the reason we are passing these driver variable as constructor argument. Okay, any doubts so far before we try to learn about drag and drop and other stuff? Any doubts?
Shall we use directly? We can use dot perform. Whether it works?
Yes, it works when you only have one statement. For example, here the action class is doing only one. Okay, in this time you can also remove the build. Okay, it is not mandatory. It will work. But the thing is, if you are doing multiple operations, then you need to add that build. Okay, so instead of you remembering all these things, you can use build or perform for everything. Okay, so that you don't have to really worry about how many things you are doing in front. For example, this also is doing only one, this also doing only one, and this also doing only one. So in this case, you can also remove build method. It's not really important here. But if you are chaining your operations, next we are going to learn about how we can do drag and dropping. Okay, so all these things, if you're trying to perform, we will do chain of events. In those cases, we need to collate all those events together and then perform our actions. For that, the collating operation will be done by build method. So build method is basically used when you have only more than one statement, but you can also use build method where there is only one also. Okay, so my advice is always use build. Okay, don't differentiate. Okay, you don't have to worry about what's happening behind. Okay, got it?
Thank you.
Okay, good. uh, okay, so let's move ahead, and so we have learned and did this. Let's also, there is one website. Okay, let's take a website called there is one website called jQuery. Okay, I don't know. Yeah, so this is the website. Okay, so this jQuery website is basically does more of the things. Okay, so if you want to do dragging, okay, you can drag and place around somewhere. Okay, if you want to perform drag and drop, okay, you can drag this and drop here. Okay, so if you want to do some selecting operations, you want to check whether it is able to select, you want to practice all your stuff, okay, you can do this. Suppose you want to click on some button, you want to you can basically try to you know uh, go to this page. Suppose you want to understand how to check on a radio box. Okay, then you can come to this particular place, and then you can practice all these things. So you want to check boxes, you can do this, right? And yeah, so basically this has more for you to try it out. But for now we are going to understand how we can do dragging and dropping. For that, either you can load this particular website and click on droppable, or you can directly load the URL. Because there is no login, so I can directly go to the URL. Okay, control and copy, and let's go here. um, what I do, I'll go here, and then I'll create a new class, that is drag drop test. Okay, and here also I'll add a main method, and let me copy some code. Let's say I want this particular piece of code, I don't want to type it again, and I'll replace this URL with this particular URL. Okay, now we're going to do a drag and dropping. Okay, so we're going to drag this element and put it here. Okay, let's see how we can do this. Okay, first, to perform drag and drop also we need actions class, so I'm creating an object for that. Again, while creating object, we need to pass the constructor. In the constructor we need to pass the driver. Okay, yeah. Now imagine, while doing this drag and drop, there are certain events I am doing. Okay, first I am clicking. Okay, clicking this one, and then holding my mouse, right? Clicking and holding, then I am moving this here, then I'm releasing my fingers and dropping it, right? So these are the set of events. So I have something here, I clicking and holding, moving here and dropping it or releasing it, right? This is a sequence of events I'm doing. We're going to have all the methods ready. So if you want the previous state, I reload the page, right? So I'm doing three options. First one is basically I'm clicking and holding, right? So basically there is an option, click and hold. What you want to hold? Okay, I want to hold this one, right? So let's inspect. And if you notice, the ID is draggable, so I can basically use this. Okay, so web element, uh, draggable, right? So this is, maybe I'll draggable element equal to, driver find element. First you need to find this element. Yeah, this is the element. So what I want to do, I want to click and hold. Okay, draggable. Okay, after that I want to move to another element. Okay, what is that particular element? Okay, that particular element is droppable. Okay, so let's copy this, create one more element, web element droppable. Okay, move to element, droppable. Okay, droppable is the another element. Once I move there, I want to release my fingers. I release my fingers from the mouse and release it. Once I release it, I basically want to chain these operations. Okay, so this is one operation, this is second operation, the release is third operation. I want to build all these operation as a one single event. After that I want to click on perform. So here, if you don't do a build, it won't work. Okay, so always use build and perform at the end whenever you are using actions class. That's the easy way. Okay, okay, now let's see whether it is working. Okay, let's try to run it. It haven't worked. Why it haven't worked? So let's go ahead and see what is the exception thrown or error message. So it's telling, hey, there is no such element. Okay, but this ID draggable and trackable was actually there. So it was an easy find for us. Why it was not there? Okay, why you cannot find it? Let's go to the page and see what's happening. Okay, if you if you right click, and then if you notice, normally we do inspect. If you notice, there is view page source. Okay, suppose let's say I go here to Google website and do, so here I can only see view page source. Okay, and if I go here, I can see view frame source. Okay, if I right click here, uh, sorry, this is clicking on actually an element. So view page source. So only here I could see view frame source. Okay, which means this particular element is actually located inside a frame. Okay, for example, I open a paint to it, so we have a browser here. Okay, we have a browser in which we are having, this is a browser. Okay, so inside browser we have the web page, right? Inside web browser we have web page. Even this web pages can have different, submenus which are not naked to a, not visible to our naked eyes. Because for example, if they want to if you create it as a frame, it will be easy for them to manage. So it is not visible to our naked eyes, but in automation, if you are working with frames, you need to move to that particular frame to perform the action. So a web page can have multiple frames as well. It's not applicable for all the websites, only in sub websites this will be there. Okay, to identify whether the frame is there or not, easily what you can do, if your element is not clickable, you can right click and see there is any frame source or what. Otherwise, you can also, if you don't want to do this approach, you can go to inspect, and let me dock this to the bottom, and you can do control F, and all the iframes will have uh, iframe as a tag. So if you notice, this is a tag name, so this iframe is called the tag name. So if you could find something here, which means, okay, this is basically inside a frame. Okay, if it is inside a frame, you need to first switch to it, and then you need to perform the actions. Okay, good. So let's see, there is only one for here. What I can do first, I want to switch to this frame and then work on it, because there can be multiple frames. Okay, you have to define which frame you want to do. Let's assume I have a frame 1 here and frame 2, but in this website there is only one, but in some cases there will be more frames as well. In those cases, how we will handle this, that's what we are going to first see, and then we'll cover the other ones. Let's go here. So before finding this element, I need to switch to that particular frame so that it actually finds this element. Okay, okay, guys, normally this the frames in real world, let's say you are building an e-commerce website. Okay, you have done some integration with your payment providers like PayPal. Okay, you have done some integration with PayPal or Razor Pay or whatever. In those cases, what happens? Okay, this particular UI, you don't have to really develop it. Okay, you develop, you only develop. Okay, as a developer, you can only create a tag called iframe, and then you just just what you can say, you can just bind it to their payment integration. So these guys will take care of the UI. You don't have to really worry about what's inside the UI, whether there is a credit card number, whether there is debit card number, whether they want to update something, whether they are using text boxes for month and year fields, or they are using select drop downs for month and year fields. Okay, you don't have to really worry about all these things. Just create a iframe tag and give it to them. They will manage your UI. That particular small little part alone they will manage. Okay, so yeah, you don't have to really worry about it. So even if if their website is down, the frame alone will not be loaded. Okay, the other components will be available. So that's actually the use of iframe. It can be easily integrated with other, vendors or service providers. Okay, that's basically a real use case, but you don't have to really worry about it for now. For now, all you have to understand is we need to switch to that particular frame. So to switch, you can type driver, and then in Selenium, it's all, everything is easy. You put driver, you type what you want to do. I want to switch to. Okay, where you want to switch? I want to switch to a frame. Guys, if you notice, there is one crucial thing that you need to understand. There is a frame that accepts string name or ID. There is a frame that accepts int index. There is a frame that attacks accepts web element. What is this? What is this technical term? We have learned about this. What is this?
Is it method overloading?
Yes, it is called method overloading. Previously, we understood with the help of method called add, where the number of parameters or your types of parameters is different. The same thing here. Okay, if you notice, the name of the method is frame for all of them. The only way it could distinguish between each of them is by the data type here. Okay, they don't have multiple arguments, that's fine, but they can still overload with the different types of arguments. Okay, now this method overloading gives you plenty of options. Okay, first let's find the frame using index. Index means if there are a lot of frames, okay, then the first frame will be in the 0th index. So here there is only one frame, so I can basically switch to that particular frame. Okay, let's try to understand whether this is working. If not, we will try to find other ways. If there are three iframes, then the index starts from 0, 1, 2 based on the order in which they are aligned. Okay, so now if you notice, it has dragged and dropped it here. Okay, because we have switched to the frame. Okay, good. Now this is working, but in some cases, if there are more frames, using index might not be a really good approach. In those cases, okay, what you can do, see, you can pass. If you have the name or ID for the frame, you can directly pass it, name or ID. So that's very important. So let's go here and let's reload this page and see what's happening. Okay, let's check whether this is having a frame source. Okay, this is a frame source. Okay, you can get the ID draggable, droppable here as well. Or what I can do, I can just inspect and then okay. If you notice, this is the element that we are interested. Let's check its parent. Okay, let's go one by one. This is the parent. This is the parent. This one will come back later, but for now, if you notice, this is the iframe. So this iframe does not have an ID or name, so I cannot directly explain this particular method. But yeah, if you have an ID or name, you can directly pass that. Okay, ID, whatever. If you have a direct ID, you can pass it. But in our case, it's not there. So what we have to do, you have to find then pass a web element. Okay, if you want to find navigable element, you can use XPath right here. So for example, I can write an XPath. Let's say there is an iframe. Okay, uh, that's basically this is also enough here because there is one of one, so you can basically use this. Or if you want to add more components to it, you can use class name, right? So maybe I'll remove this. I'll copy this @class equal to this, right? You can also do this. Okay, let me go ahead and I'll do drive dot find elements by dot xpath. Okay, so there is one extra space. I'll remove that and let's try to check whether it is working. So yeah, it still works, right? So yeah, so this is how you can play around with actions class. Okay, it's not this is the only thing the action class can do. It can also do more. Okay, for example, if you type actions, okay, you can basically see what and all stuff it can do. Okay, this context click means it will right click an element. Okay, I don't know whether we have some use cases where I can go and right click. Okay, for example, you want to do a right click here, but these elements doesn't support right click. But in real world, so for example, um, mm, spec if you want to right click, okay, just to use the context click and then pass the web element. Okay, that's the very easy thing to do, and then put build.perform. Okay, I cannot explain all the methods, guys. Context click means it's just right clicking. Okay, but yeah, if there is any good examples that I can take, I will do it, but for now, it's very simple process, you can do it. Okay, and what else we could do? Actions dot key up key down, we can do it in there is drag and drop by. I don't know whether this will really work. Let's try to check. Okay, they have also a method called a drag and drop. Okay, that accepts from where it needs to drag and where it needs to drop. Okay, since we already have it, let's try draggable, droppable. Okay, and then build dot perform. Let's see whether it is working. Okay, instead of using three different methods, I think they have created one method called drag and drop where it will drag from here and then drop it here. Okay, let's try to check whether this is working. I'm not sure, I haven't used this so far. Let's see. Again, it's not really important that you need to do all of these things. Okay, so yeah, this is also working, guys. So yeah, you can also use this to do drag and drop. Okay, I think I was using only this so far. So yeah, this is even new for me. Yeah, you don't really have to know everything. Okay, as long as you can do drag and drop, okay, it's fine. Again, who will use drag and drop in a web page? I never used drag and drop in my whole automation career. So it's just a learning for you on how we can use actions class. But one thing that you need to understand is the move to element is really important. Okay, sometimes, see, let's say this page, I need to scroll to the bottom and then I need to click on forum. Okay, there are, by default, some websites supports automatic scrolling. So for example, if I need to inspect and then find this element, okay, let's try to do it. Okay, um, so there is a tag with text as forum, right? So a tag with text as forum, I want to click on this, right? So see, even it's highlighting one of one, so this is correct. So let's cut it and let's go here. And instead of doing all this thing, okay, I'll comment all these things. Sorry, I want to comment this one. And what I'm going to do, actions dot, if I try to directly click on it, let's try to directly click on it first. I dot find element by dot xpath. This is the xpath, and I want to click on it directly. Okay, let's see whether this is clicking, because it has to scroll down and click on it. Let's see whether it can do it. Yeah, so it is actually scrolled down to the end and then click on that. But in some cases, the scrolling won't happen automatically. Yes. Okay, that's a very good question. Okay, there is a chat, okay, that asked, do I have to switch back to the original frame? Guys, first I'll complete whatever I want to tell, and then I will cover what is doubt is all about. So this particular website actually scrolls automatically to this particular element and then clicked on it. But in some websites, the scroll won't happen automatically. So in those cases, you can use actions class to move to this particular element, and then you can click on it. Okay, so that's the best way. So for example, instead of directly using it, what you can do, basically you can, so actions dot move to element and then give this particular element dot, after that, what do you want to do after moving? You want to click on it. Okay, I want to click on it, build dot perform, right? So so this move to element can also help you to scroll to this particular element and then click on it. Okay, there is also other ways to scroll using JavaScript executor. For example, this also scrolled and then clicked on it. Okay, so this is a more reliable way than directly trying to click on it, because most websites don't support automatic scrolling. You have to write a code to scroll and then click on it. Okay, in those cases, this action class will come really handy. Okay, that's what I want to cover. And there is also one good question that Hitesh asked. Now we switched to the frame, right? Let's go back to the old ways. So let's say we have performed drag and drop. After this, what we want to do, once we perform this drag and drop, I want to come again. Okay, let's close all this thing. After performing the drag and drop, what I want to do, I want to click on this resizable. Okay, or whatever. So I want to click on this resizable. Then see, you are inside this frame. So you are inside this frame, which means your entire control or Selenium can only control this. If you want to get back and click on this, let's see what it does. Okay, let's say I want to click on resizable. Let's inspect that again. Resizable. Okay, and yeah, with the text. So it's very easy. So let's go there. Once I perform drag and drop, what I want to do, I want to do driver dot find element by dot xpath. Okay, slash a text equal to, guys, you should be very comfortable in writing xpath by this time, right? And I want to click on this. Let's see what's the error it's telling. So it has actually dragged this, but it's not clicked on the resizable, right? This is because your control is still there. Okay, if you notice, I could not find this. Whatever you have told, I could not find that. I still throwing no such element exception. This is because the control is inside the frame itself till. Okay, so if I want to get back to the normal, outside the frame, what you can do, there is something called as driver dot switch to dot parent frame. No, switch to dot default content. Okay, so this is the one that you need to call so that it comes back to the uh, uh, you know whole page. Okay, so let's try to run it now and then see whether it is working. Again, guys, frames are very uh, very rare, right? Most websites, they handle everything by themselves. Okay, they don't expose frame. So now the resizable is clicked and everything is working. So if you want to go to frame, use switch to frame and use index string or web element as a parameter. And if you want to come back out of the frame, use switch to default content. Default content means your page. Okay, so yeah, so this is another method that you might want to be interested. Any other doubts in this so far in the actions class, whatever we have learned?
One query,
Yeah, go ahead.
okay, the thing is like, for example, for a few use cases,
Mhm.
we have to upload the file from our desktop. I mean, click, drag, and then put it in our application. Will this action class work for that person?
See it. See, again,
The
Selenium is
file will
for
be outside.
fine. See, Selenium is only for website handling. Okay, basically it cannot go to
Okay.
some of your file explorer. It cannot do all these
Um,
things. Okay, it cannot do this.
drag
Okay,
and
it
drop.
is
Okay.
not, it is not its job. Selenium, what it can do
Okay.
based on the the upload file and all, we didn't came. Okay, we didn't cover it. We will cover it, but it is only possible
Mm.
if the tag name is input and then type is file. Okay, if there is an attribute called type equal to file, then we can directly do send keys of the our current location. So we will learn that in the future class.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Thanks.
But Selenium is only for website. Okay, it cannot basically interact with your desktop applications or desktop itself. Okay, any other doubts from anyone?
So, Amud, default content method means it will go to original.
Yeah, our original page. Instead of focusing on the frame, for example, this is the diagram. Okay, when you said switch to frame, the focus is more into this frame. Okay, it won't focus anywhere else. Okay, it will go and search only here. Okay, once you said switch to default content, the focus now comes back to the web page. Okay, and it won't focus the frame. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah,
Inside the frame, any frames can we expect?
very very rare, very rare. Okay,
Oh,
so don't really worry about it. Okay, when it happens, you can manage. Okay, the knowledge that you will gain out of this course will help you to manage. Okay, guys, it's not like even I have never seen or worked with a frame inside a frame. Okay, that's very very rare. Okay, so in those cases, you can just Google how to handle a frame inside a frame in Selenium. Okay, so it's not like everything you need to know beforehand. Okay, maybe something on the work, on the job, we learn, right? So that you don't have to really worry about all those things. Okay. Okay. Yes. Don't worry, Ravi. I will explain WebDriver architecture and how it works and all. But we are not yet there. Okay. Let's first try to enjoy what Selenium can offer. Okay. I will cover all these things. Okay. Don't worry about all those things. Okay. I think we have almost covered a lot of stuff today. But if you notice, we are writing a lot of code. Okay, we are writing driver dot find element by XPath by ID, everything repeatably, right? So what if there is a way, uh, if I just type drive dot find element by ID. Okay, if I type dfbi, it should automatically give me drive dot find element by ID. Okay, something like this. Or if I type d drive dot find element by XPath. Okay, if I type dfbx, it should automatically give me all these things. Okay, IntelliJ comes with these kind of things. Okay, for example, if you want to create something like that, okay, there is an options should be there in the settings. Okay, there is file templates, maybe templates, uh, live templates. In this live template, I go to the Java here. So you can go and configure some new templates. Okay, for example, if you type main, you are getting public static void main, right? So we are typing main, which actually gives you public static void main, and then the control is in dollar $, right? So that's what is happening, right? When I type main, so if I type main, okay, basically it is throwing error because there are two mains, but if you notice, it created everything for me, and then the cursor is here. Okay, where they have defined this. Okay, this is what they have defined inside settings and then live templates. Okay, if you type main, it basically gives you this particular template. Okay, the same way, if you are typing s out, which basically gives you system.out.println, and the cursor will be here, right? This is what the templates is all about. So you can basically use this to create your own templates as well. So for now, we are in a need where if I type driver find by element, okay, what I can do, I can just click on this, click on live template. I want to create a new template. Let's name this as find element, something like this. Okay, okay, what I can, driver find by id, driver dot find element by id. Okay, so we can mention the description here, driver find element by id. Okay, something like this, and you can give the text here, right? So driver dot find element by dot, okay, id, and then you have something like this, and the control should be here, right? And let's say I want to put the control here, and the, now we have added this. Now we need to tell which, where it needs to be get applied. Okay, only inside Java. Okay, sorry guys, I missed it. Okay, again I will create it again, no problem. So I just missed to save it. Okay, so dfbi and driver find element ad, and so I'm giving you a little shortcuts which I normally use so that you also can uh, you know, practice them. So yeah, I can basically add end null. Okay, now I, this needs to be applicable to which one, so which, to only Java. Okay, now we can apply and then save. Okay, there is already a something there. Okay, because we didn't saved it. Okay, for example, what I can do, I can go ahead and delete it. Go to the Java, dfbi is already there. Okay, where it is, it's not there. Okay, I don't know where it get added, but it's telling it's a duplicate. But what is this, guys? Okay, let's try to do with the XPath. Okay, I don't want to miss this. The element by XPath. Okay, and then here, or you can do copy pasting as well. So by dot, and then here you can mention Java. Okay, and I'll define the scope as Java. Okay, once you are done with this, click on apply. Okay, now if I go here, type df by xpath, see it's even coming now. Okay, dfbx, it's telling driver find element by xpath. I press enter, that's it. You can, okay, I made a spelling mistake, guys, but you don't make the spelling mistake, so that you'll directly end up here, and then you can start writing your xpath or copy paste your xpath and then work on it. Okay, so this is how we can use live templates if you are writing same lines of code again and again. Yeah, quickly you can create a template so that we can, it will be really helpful for you. Okay, so Yeah, that's all about it today. We'll cover something interesting tomorrow as well, and I'll give you some assignment tomorrow. Okay. Any other doubts?
The same templates, is it available in Eclipse also? Just
Yes, yes, I think it will be available.
okay.
Yeah. But move to IntelliJ. That's my very good suggestion. Let me stop